Hi everyone. It's July here in Southern California. I'm in Zone 10B. Let me take you on a tour of our small 100 square foot container garden. Let's start the tour here at my Japanese cucumbers. This variety is called Suyataro. It's a long and slender Japanese variety of cucumbers, and you can see I have a trellis set up here. I am training these on twine. Here you can see the tomato clips attaching the vines to the twine. In each of these pots, I have two plants. So I have two there, and I have two over here. Here's the label for these cucumbers. Again, Suyataro. The seeds for these were sown back in May. I planted them out a couple of weeks ago. You'll notice that I have this wire mesh hardware cloth, and that's to prevent the squirrels from digging up the mulch. And speaking of mulch, I have a good 2 to 3 inch layer of this shredded cedar bark in my pots, and I do that for virtually all of my containers. So the plan for trellising these cucumbers is to work them up the twine, and as the lateral shoots start growing out, like for example, let's see, this one right here. Oh, actually, I see a fruit. It's my first fruit that I've seen. I got a little distracted there. As I look closely, there are quite a few fruit developing. Well, anyway, getting back to these lateral shoots, as these start to grow out, I will place some horizontal stakes across here and train those lateral shoots along those horizontal stakes. That way, the cucumbers will have several levels to hang from. In these three pots, I have bitter melon, also known as bitter gourd. They're quite popular in Asian countries that have a tropical and subtropical climate because they really do like the heat. I have a plant cage set up around these plants. As the plants grow, they'll be trained on this plant cage. When the fruit develops, they'll hang from one of these three levels, either this first level, second, or third level. And by setting it up this way, it'll be easy to reach in and harvest the fruit. In this pot, I have kabocha squash, and this variety was sown back in March. The variety is called Sweet Mama. Now, you'll notice I have a Ziploc bag around this fruit here. I'm really excited about this fruit. It's growing like crazy. And the reason for the Ziploc bag is to protect it from critters. So we'll see how it comes along. I'm not quite sure how much longer it will need to grow, but I'm keeping a really close eye on it. In fact, I have a ultrasonic critter repeller here that I turn on at night just in case a critter gets the idea of attacking my kabocha. Let's take a look at the flowers down here. You can see a female flower that did not fertilize, and so that one is not going to develop. I see mostly male flowers here. So right now, this is the only fruit that we have. Here I have blue lake bush beans. There are about 4 or 5 plants in there, and I'm really excited to see this fruit developing. So hopefully here in the coming weeks, we'll see some beans. In the pot next to it, I have more blue lake bush beans that I sowed a couple of weeks ago. I have the burlap over the top to keep the soil from crusting over and making it difficult for those beans to germinate. These two pots are fallow, I'm not growing anything in them right now, but you'll notice that I have this thick layer of mulch. Now, the reason I put the mulch over is to keep that soil moist. Now, I'm going to pull this back just to see if we can see some worms in here, because the whole point of this mulch is to keep the soil from drying out and keeping those worms happy. Oftentimes, if I pull back this mulch, we'll see worms. So let's go ahead and remove some of this, move it over to this one, and see if we can find some worms here. Oh, yep, there's one right there. Okay. I amend the soil with leaf mold as well as compost and an organic fertilizer. So this is laying fallow right now. And again, I can see some more worms here. Here's another one. There's a ton of worms in here. Usually right below, there's one here, actually a couple it looks like. So this soil is really fertile. Here's some more over here. Just wanted to show you how rich how rich this soil is. Okay, let's go ahead and cover those worms back up and return the mulch. In these two grow bags, I'm growing yellow potatoes. The seed potatoes came from Trader Joe's, and it's important when getting seed potatoes either that you get certified organic or you get organic from the market because they are not sprayed with a sprout inhibitor. When I planted the seed potatoes in these grow bags, I started them at around 6 to 8 inches above the bottom of the grow bag. So there's soil to that point. I placed 3 seed potatoes on top of the soil, and as they sprouted and grew, I added this mulch that you saw earlier. This is a shredded cedar mulch. And as they continued to grow, I added more mulch, and I have about mulch to within 6 to 8 inches from the top of the grow bag. Now these are a determinate variety of potatoes, which means that they grow in a kind of a clumping manner. They don't grow up the stems. And you can see that the foliage on the potatoes in this grow bag are starting to die back. When those all completely die back, then I'll harvest the potatoes. In these two 20-gallon pots, I'm growing Satsuma sweet potatoes. So I have 3 plants. Here's 1, 2, and 3 in each of these pots. Now these are grown from slips, and if you'd like to see how I started the slips, check the link in the description. These slips are of 3 lengths. One is short, one is medium, and one is long. And the hope here is to have potatoes throughout the column of the pot. Again, they're mulched to keep the soil moist. And I'll let these go for several more months before we harvest them. Swinging over to this side, I have 4 pots of shishito peppers. This first pot has a plant from the garden center. It's called takara. And this one has flowers on it. And the 2 next to it are shishito that I sowed from seed. I sowed those back in March. So the plants are doing well, still not seeing any flowers. And then this one on the end is also the plant from the garden center, takara. Next to the shishito peppers, I have 4 pots of Japanese eggplant. This variety is called Ichiban. I picked these up at the garden center and they're just really flourishing. Lots of fruit on these plants. But you'll notice that a lot of these fruit have the Ziploc bags placed over them. And the reason for that is to prevent the fruit from getting munched by critters. So let's take a look at this one, for example. This is a young fruit that was attacked by some sort of critter. I'm assuming it's a mouse or rat that got to it. So unless we wrap these fruit, they will meet the same fate as the one that you just saw. Let's take a look at this one right here. I'm going to take the bag off so it's easier to see. So this one is ready to be harvested. Look how beautiful that is. And I think I have a couple more down here. Let's take a look at this one here. Yep, so this one is ready to go. And I believe I might have one more down here. Let's take a look at this one here. Oh yeah, this one is really looking nice. Okay, so we have a couple of eggplant that are ready to be harvested. Something to consider when growing plants in containers is to make sure that you keep your plants well watered. Now, since these plants are large, they're going to transpire quite a bit of water. And what I mean by that is there is water loss through the leaves. On the underside of the leaves are openings called stomata that allow oxygen and carbon dioxide to pass through, as well as water. There's going to be some evaporation from the soil, but since I have this thick layer of mulch, there's going to be little evaporation. Well, there'll be some, but there's not going to be nearly as much evaporation as transpiration from these plants. So I have to water these every day, otherwise the lower leaves start to droop. In this row of containers right here, I have 5 Momotaro indeterminate tomatoes. You can see that I am training them up twine. I'm using this system of stakes and connectors for the trellis. And if you'd like to see how I set this trellis up, check the link in the description. Let's take a closer look at how I'm training these Momotaro tomatoes. I'm training these tomato plants to grow up 2 stems. So here's the main leader following the twine, and it's clipped into the twine with this tomato clip. Now wherever there is a sucker, I will cut it out. And the reason for that is because we want the energy of this plant to go up the main stem and to go into the developing fruit. So here we see the top of the plant, and here we see some flowers and some fruit. So here is a cluster of fruits that's being protected with these Ziploc bags, and here's another one. Let's see if we can get it to take a look. And here is the second stem. This was originally a sucker, and this will be trained up just like the main leader. It's clipped in with tomato clips into the twine. And as the plant grows, I will also cut out the suckers from this second stem. And again, you see flowers developing. By cutting out the suckers from both of these stems, the energy will be focused on the flowers and the developing fruit. In this pot, I have sun gold tomatoes. These are a delicious variety of cherry tomatoes that I'm sure a lot of you grow. I'm growing these up similarly to the Momotaro, but instead of 2 stems, I'm growing these up 4 stems, and this is 1 plant. You can see a lot of flower clusters on this plant, and I have some Ziploc bags around the developing fruit. So again, if I don't do this, the critters will get to them. Along the back wall, I have my herb area. This is a pot of parsley that I sowed from seed. This is mint that was repotted and it's come back very quickly. Here's a small pot of Thai peppers, and here is a larger pot of Thai peppers. And you can see that the fruit is developing nicely. This is a perilla leaf plant. We like to use this in Korean barbecue and to wrap meats and sashimi. This is a pot of green onions that I started from cuttings. I basically have green onions growing year round because they're so easy to propagate. This is English thyme, and we have chives, basil. In this pot I have cilantro that got hit by a critter, so it's not doing that well. Next to it is Japanese shiso. This is closely related to Korean perilla leaves. It has a softer texture, really good with sashimi. Here's a pot of mint that I recently used for a mint lemon iced tea. Very delicious. Here's another pot of perilla leaves. These, by the way, came to me as volunteers from my friend's garden. So I have 2 pots of these that are doing really, really well. And here's an old pot of rosemary that we use in our cooking. So there you have it. This was our July vegetable garden tour. I hope you enjoyed the visit. Please consider liking and sharing this video with people you know. Please consider subscribing to our channel. We would really appreciate your support. And as always, thank you so much for watching.